Greetings, Rick Jordan here. Today is April 23rd, 2021. Welcome to Talk Thing number 6. We are in the middle of several sessions on anxiety. So this is anxiety part D, and this one's about stillness. Below this video, there are a variety of ways you can help me. If you like what's happening here, if you like this video, then you can click like, you can click share if you think of someone who also needs to hear what's going on in this video. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel if you would like. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers because once I reach 1,000, YouTube will let me do some things with the channel that I can't do right now. And then you'll also notice a link to my Patreon page, and that's for financial support if you're so inclined. A number of you are supporting what's happening here financially, either through the Patreon page or by reaching out to me directly, and you humble me. I could not do this without you. I really couldn't. We are all in this together. So, stillness. Why would I want to talk about stillness with regards to anxiety? Here's what I've learned myself. Anxiety and stillness do not get along, but stillness reduces anxiety. And we'll touch on that some more during this talk. I want to read from Psalm 46. It was written by some worship leaders called the Sons of Korah at a time when Jerusalem was besieged, which means an invading army had surrounded them and cut them off and they were closing in. Those are all really, really powerful metaphors for anxiety. When we are experiencing high anxiety, it does feel like we're surrounded, we're besieged, we're cut off, and things are closing in. So I want to read the psalm, and we won't spend much time on it with the exception of verse 10. And I want you to notice that almost everything is in the third person talking about God, but suddenly in verse 10, it's almost like God interrupts the psalm to say something directly. So here we go. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. The description there is cosmic chaos, and that's how the sons of Korah are choosing, inspired by the Spirit, to depict what's happening inside the city. It's like everything is falling apart. It's upheaval. It's chaos. Verse 4, there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day, or in the nick of time. Nations are in an uproar. Kingdoms fall. God lifts God's voice. The earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Can you picture them saying that inside the walls of Jerusalem while they're besieged? And if you've ever been besieged by anxiety and you've been able to affirm or confess, God is with me, you know that can be a real difference maker. Verse 8, come and see what the Lord has done, the desolations God has brought on the earth. God makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. God breaks the bow and shatters the spear. God burns the shields with fire. And here it comes, verse 10. God says. So here's God jumping in directly. And most theologians think that God is talking to the enemy forces now. God says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. And then it goes back to third person. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. That's what God says. So how does this psalm meet you right here, right now? The late author Thomas Kelly described life as an intolerable scramble of panting feverishness. It's about right. Intolerable scramble of panting feverishness. And in that feverishness, God speaks to us. And God says, be still. In fact, let me tell you about the Hebrew. This one phrase, be still, can take into account so many phrases. Calm down, slow down, step back, let go, relax your grip, cease striving, and know that I am God. So much is wrapped up in that little phrase, be still. And I want to make sure we're all grasping what's happening in this psalm with God just stepping in. Because there's a New Testament passage that's an awful lot like Psalm 46. It's Mark chapter 4, verses 35 through 41. Jesus and the disciples are in a boat. Jesus is asleep. Jesus is exhausted. And this killer storm comes up. Now the boat is filled with people who make their livings on boats. These are veteran fishermen. But this storm feels like the one. No matter what they do, it just keeps getting worse. And finally, they wake Jesus up because Jesus is still asleep. And they say, Master, don't you care that we're drowning? And I think what they're saying is, Jesus, grab a bucket. All hands on deck. We have to bail water. And so Jesus gets up and he looks out and he says, peace, be still. And the waters become calm. Just like Psalm 46. And I think one of the reasons we have this miracle in the Bible is to help us understand that when storms of anxiety are out of control inside us, God can step in. God can take charge. God can say, shh, peace, be still. Anxiety and stillness do not get along, but stillness definitely reduces anxiety. I'm 62 years old, and I'm only now really moving into stillness. And as I say that out loud, that sounds weird. Moving into stillness. I've realized for years that I have the soul of a contemplative, but unfortunately I have the personality of like a caffeinated June bug. And then you mix in the anxiety and the effects of the wreck in 2015. And here I am. That's why at age 62, I'm only now moving into stillness. But it works. It works. Be still and know that God is God. Now it says be still, not do still. Have you ever tried to do stillness? It doesn't work. We are human beings. We're not human doings. And so be still. And one of the ways that I can be still is somatic grounding through sensory embodiment, which takes us back to the previous two. In fact, I forgot to say something in the last session. Remember, we talked about breathe, pray, thank, see, hear, taste, touch, smell, all of these embodiments to help us reduce anxiety. What I forgot to say is get into these habits before, like, you have a panic attack. Start practicing these. Like, if you have a few minutes, instead of just zoning out on your phone, take a breathing break. You can do that any time. Or just decide that you're going to be grateful for a while. Or you're going to look around, you're going to listen, or you can smell, or you can think about tasting, or you can touch, like curl your toes onto the floor or the ground and squeeze your arms, and just get in the habit of doing that. And at least in my experience, if I'm already in the practices of those embodiments, when anxiety jumps up, those practices are a lot more accessible to me, and I can be still and know that God is God, and that matters. Remember that quote from Thomas Kelly? Does your life feel like an intolerable scramble of panting feverishness? I offer you Psalm 46. I offer you everything that we're saying in this talk. And I want to offer you a prayer. It's adapted as a confessional prayer from St. Francis de Sales. Yes, I mispronounced that. But I really like this, and I want to take you through this prayer before we stop. God in Christ, I will strive to see you in all things without exception, and I will consent to your will with trusting submission. I will do everything for you, uniting myself to you by a mere upward glance or by the overflowing of my heart towards you. I will never be in a hurry. I will do everything quietly and in a calm spirit. I will not lose my inward peace for anything whatsoever, even if my whole world seems upset. I will entrust all to you, and then I will lie still and be at rest in your love. Whatever happens, I will abide steadfastly in a determination to cling simply to you, trusting to your eternal love for me. And when I find that I have wandered forth from this shelter, I will recall my heart quietly and simply. I will maintain a holy simplicity of mind, and I will not smother myself with a swarm of cares, wishes, or longings under any circumstances or with any excuses. That's the prayer. In other words, be still and know that God is God. Grace and peace to you.